You ready for this?
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn, hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Needs a brew? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
So hello and welcome to the 52nd episode of the Nexus Trolls, a podcast all about Heroes of the Storm, part of the Trolls.gg podcasting network. So I'm your host, Linus Dazkilius, and I'm joined today, as always, by Mystic. How's it going, Mystic?
I'm feeling very spooky today.
You're looking very spooky. And Mr. Bigglesworth next to us here. If you're watching the VOD, you might notice there's a little cat there making a little appearance because that cat happens to have a master by the name of Silthreent. Silthreent, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Hello.
And Silthreent, for those of you that don't know, is a program director of Learning Fives, which we're going to be talking about later in the show today. And it's a very appropriate time because they actually launched with HOTS today. So we'll be talking about that shortly. We've got a great show on the docket today. We're going to go over some news. There isn't a lot of news because BlizzCon, like we were talking off camera, is probably going to be dropping a hell of a lot. So we had a pretty quiet news week. Then we're going to get into the interview with Silthreent, and then LiQuid, actually, he's sick today, so we're scrapping his eSports corner, and for those of you waiting for Troll and HGC after the show, that's just going to be Bags, and they've got Trent from the Trent Esports is going to be carrying the load there for LiQuid, on LiQuid's behalf. We've got a couple listener questions we're going to field that we've been putting off for a while. We had a HOTS debate all prepped too, but LiQuid, the reigning champion, again is sick, so we're going to have to just delay that until after BlizzCon, because next week we're actually going to be in Anaheim on Wednesday. We might try and do something live there, but it will be a little bit difficult to do a Trolls HOTS debate from there. And we're going to round the show off with Mystic's Shakedown. But of course, before we start the show, we always thank our patrons over at patreon.com/trollsgg. If you're looking for a way to support the show, and you can head over to patreon.com/trollsgg to do so. The show's always going to be free, guys, but if you're looking for a way to do so and support us, you can always do it there. And our Troll of the Week this week, and ironically, like before we started the show, I asked Silthreent how I actually pronounce his name. I asked the same of our Troll of the Week this week, Dorsh or Dorshi, and I was like, is it Dorsh or Dorshi? He's like, either one's fine. So Dorsh, Dorshi, however you like to call yourself. Thanks for being a friend of the show. I've caught you in a few games over the past couple of weeks. You've been a great, great guy. Thanks so much for being a friend of the show, and you are officially our Troll of the Week. So without further ado, though, let's start talking about some Learning Fives, because that's what we're here to do today with Silthreent. So Silthreent, what is Learning Fives? I just found out about it a few weeks ago, so I don't actually know much about it myself. So could you kind of run over what it is and how people can get involved?
Well, it's an educational program. Our goal is to help students learn how to play the game, from mechanics to macro. When signups open, you sign up as a student or a coach, and then the following week after signups, the coaches all pick 5 students to put together a team, and then they just spend 5 weeks teaching the students how to play together.
And you did this with League of Legends. You said you started a couple years ago.
Started with League of Legends 2 years ago.
And how's that been going? Like, I've never played League of Legends once.
We get, on average, 700, 800 student signups, and like 50 coaches.
Wow, that's really impressive. I'm impressed that you get so many coaches, too. Do you find there's a lot of response from people wanting to teach?
Yeah, we get a lot of people that just like want to teach someone else how to play. And it also like helps them learn the game too.
Oh, for sure. So if someone wants to sign up for this, either to be a coach or to actually be involved in it, like where would they go to do that?
There are sign up links on our Discord that I'm going to conveniently drop in chat.
And we've got all the links as well. We'll have them in the description on the YouTube video as well as in our show notes as well.
I got stopped by Nightbot, so oh no.
Nightbot, yeah, LiQuid installed Nightbot in our Twitch chat recently, so it's being a bit of a pain, and of course LiQuid's not here to try and fix that while we're going. But you can always, I'm sure you can find all the links at twitter.com/learning5s, the number 5, and that's in the end.
Just go to the Learning Fives HOTS Discord.
Yep. Or facebook.com/learning5 5S, learning fives, would probably be a good place for those resources. So like, why did you start this originally? What spurred you on to like start this learning fives community?
Well, there is a subreddit called Summoner School, and they like focus on trying to teach people how to play. And a big complaint in MOBAs all the time is my team's holding me back. It's always my team. I'm a god.
Blame the
So,
jungler.
What if you just take that out and it's a team? It can't be your team's fault because you're working together now. And then the coach can work together and individually at the same time. So you remove that essence.
Yeah, and we talk about it all the time on the show how Hero League in Heroes of the Storm can be a very toxic place where it can just be not fun in general. Like the last thing you want to do is get home from a stressful day at work or school or wherever you're doing and get slammed like for whatever reason for making a mistake. We're not all pros here, right? Everyone makes mistakes. There's no point in having to take all this like flack on in Hero League when you're just trying to have fun. And I've always said before, like the best way to enjoy the game is to get together with, 5 people on comms and kind of enjoy yourself. And I feel like this is a good outlet for that. When I started really enjoying HOTS was when I joined Chair League, which is like kind of like a beer league for Heroes of the Storm, and like that's where I met a lot of people in the community and everything. It was a good outlet for that, and I feel like learning fives is a good outlet for that as well too. Do you have to sign up as a team or can you sign up as individuals?
You can sign up individually or as a team. It's up to you.
Yeah, so a great place to meet other people then as well. People look like-minded like you. And the nice thing about being on comms or being in team league, I feel like people are a lot less toxic and a lot more supportive of mistakes.
When it's people you actually know, you lose that anonymous.
Yeah, for sure. So do you think this is going to translate over from League of Legends into Heroes of the Storm pretty well?
I hope so. The system's mostly the same, just a different game.
Yeah, I know it's funny today. I feel like I'm outnumbered by League of Legends players here because, like I said, I've never actually played League of Legends. Well, why don't we just derail a little bit and talk a little bit about League? Because, like I said, we had to cut a few things from the show because LiQuiud's not here. Like Mystic and Silthreent, since you guys play League a lot, if I wanted to dip my toe in those waters, is that a good idea? I mean, you guys both play both sides. No.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No.
The lower levels, or I guess leveling up, I don't know if it's still full of that many, but there's like a lot of bots and smurfs and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of those running around. The 1 through 30 isn't exactly the best experience.
That's getting removed actually. It's no longer 1 through 30 claim.
Oh yeah, that's right. In the preseason.
Yeah.
So what about the other way around? What if you're coming from League of Legends to HOTS? Is that a transition you suggest people should make? 'Cause, I mean, maybe we've got some League of Legends players looking at this and being like, "Hey, I like learning fives and League of Legends. Maybe I want to try learning fives with HOTS."
Honestly,
HOTS
if you're
pretty good for like learning macro, just macro because you just skip laning and just go straight to the macro part of the game.
Yeah, I mean the games are a lot shorter, right? So, have you seen a lot of people make the transition from League to Hero successfully, or played both and enjoy both? I mean, Mystic, I feel like is and you are almost like a rare case. Like, it seems like everyone I know is either on like the League side of things and likes League and doesn't want to play Heroes, or is on the Hero side of things and doesn't like care much for League. Is this place where you can and safely enjoy both worlds?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you're a League player and you're going to HOTS, at first you'll be like, okay, this is much easier, but it's kind of like a breath of fresh air, right? In League, you farm a lot and you get a bunch of gold and you go buy the items and stuff like that. In HOTS, it jumps more into like just the fights itself, and obviously there's still the macro that Silthreent was talking about, but you get to jump into the fights a lot quicker. Whereas League, it's a little slower. I'd say there's a little bit more strategic decisions that you can make, but yeah. Well,
I mean, it was cool to see back when we had the learning HOTS bit when they did HOTS 2.0. Well, I don't know why the name of the segment is escaping me now, but when they had the 4 pros come over from League of Legends to get taught by Heroes of the Storm pros, and I thought that was a very successful bit. I was even in the Twitch chat too. I was expecting there be a lot of toxicity, but there was actually a lot of like insightful questions. I mean, there was a little bit of toxicity, obviously, with people blaming each other's games and everything too. But I mean, the streamers took it well, and it seemed like the community, like it helped the community grow too. So Silthreent, I got another question for you. So like, let's say you sign up for you want to learn from learning fives, right? You want to sign up as a player. So what happens from there? Let's say like you get selected for to be on a team with a coach. Like, is it cast? Is it like our VODs put up? Like, how does the process work if you do get selected?
How exactly you're taught is really dependent on the coach and what the coach himself wants to do. Some people just do like they'll just watch a replay and then point out your mistakes and tell you how to fix them, or just discuss talent builds.
So the coaching is it done privately, or is it done like, are there VODs like for the coaching, or is that done publicly as well, or is it just all private?
Most coaches do it privately, but some would stream theirs. Like the more experienced coaches would stream their coaching sessions.
Because one of the things I actually get a lot from is whenever I see someone coaching other people, it's interesting because you can watch people play a lot, and a lot of professional streamers, and you can try and pick up what they're doing. But I always find the most informative streamers are the ones that either explain what they're doing and try and teach as they're going, or are teaching other people. So I always thought that was kind of a neat dynamic. So it'll be interesting to see if any of the coaches decide to stream, the HOTS coaches decide to stream their content as well. So, are you looking for more coaches? Is this something that you're really pushing hard for? Or is it the players that you're most looking for at this point?
We're looking for both, really. We're just always looking for both. You can never have too many of them.
So, Mystic, you gonna sign up? Because Mystic is a pretty darn good HOTS player, and that's the other thing.
Maybe if I was gonna say maybe if I had enough time.
You're a student; you got plenty of time. So, I mean, the other thing too is like, does it matter what level of player you are too? Because I mean, can Mystic even sign up to be a player? He's a diamond level player ish at the moment. Like, can you? Are there coaches for like higher level, or is it mostly like low level? Like, or is it a mixture of level of coaching?
Really depends. Like we have support for the higher level, but it really just depends if like a high level coach wants to coach you, because you can only be coached by a coach that's at least 2 tiers above you generally. So if we just don't get any high level coaches, you just don't get coached. But
so maybe I can coach some silver and bronzes then. That's about the extent.
To be at least plat 5.
Yeah, well, I got that down. Still, anyways, I'm really interested to see where Learning Fives goes, and I think it's a great thing for the community too. And it's nice to see new initiatives coming into Heroes, especially ones that have been successful elsewhere as well. So, pretty excited to see how this goes. But again, if you're listening to the show, all the information for that is in the show notes or the description on the YouTube VOD. So that being said, we've got a little bit of news we want to cover. So let's get into the news.
Someday, this will make a great story.
So we had probably the tiniest patch drop today. It's a hotfix. I'm not even going to talk about the bugs because there's like maybe 3 or 4 bugs that got addressed today, most likely just to make sure they're out of the way before BlizzCon. We do have the link for that in the show notes. However, I imagine they're not putting much into here because, again, BlizzCon's next week, so we've got a lot on the docket that it's going to be coming next week. We also got the new beta launcher for Battle.net is now live with all the new social features too. With Trolls.gg, we're starting our own channel. We're going to have that on our Trolls.gg website. We're going to be posting it there. You can get to it from Trolls.gg/ probably support the show or /Discord. You'll be able to find it all in there. We haven't set too much of it up yet. We just kind of are getting our legs together with it, but still keep an eye out for that, and we'll make sure we get the information out for how to join that. But I imagine they probably want the beta launcher to be live now because they're going to be talking about a lot of these social features actually at BlizzCon itself. Mystic, Silthreent, I mean, you guys both use Discord a lot. I mean, you already mentioned, Silthreent, that you use Discord for Learning Fives. Do you think that we're going to be able to start using this the Battle.net launcher for a Discord replacement? Because that's what it seems like they're trying to position themselves as. Have you ever had a chance to check it out yet?
I haven't looked that deep into it. I changed my profile picture. That's about it.
Yeah, I pulled a mister. I haven't changed my profile picture for it yet, but I noticed that, yeah, you can put down your profile picture. You can put in like a description about yourself. It's becoming a lot more social. So I think it's kind of cool. Missy, do you think it's going to pull you away from Discord? We're going to start having more people in the Trolls GG BattleNet server as opposed to the Discord one?
See, that's the thing. Like, Discord is so big that in order for it to pull me away, more people are going to, like, more of my friends are going to have to start using it. And if they don't, then there's no real incentive to use it unless it's, like, vastly better, right? So just keep using Discord.
It's such a chicken and the egg problem, right? Feel like the only big advantage it has going for it so far is the fact that it's in-game, in client, right? Like you can actually start like a group chat, you can continue that into the game, but I mean, most people use Discord for that already, and most people have Discord running in the background, so it doesn't have that extreme draw yet to pull people away, and I think they're a little bit behind, so it'll be interesting to see if Blizzard can play catch-up and leapfrog some service like Discord that's been so popular with players and streamers alike. So we've also got BlizzCon starting tomorrow. Not the actual event, but the group stages for HGC. I had to quickly text LiQuiud to be like, LiQuiud, what's the information here? Because he was supposed to cover this stuff, but turns out it's tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. You can catch it. I wasn't sure if you had to be required a BlizzCon virtual ticket or not, but you don't. It's on Twitch, the usual place, and it starts tomorrow with MVP Black versus Deadly Kittens at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then 3:30 p.m. Eastern, we've got CE versus Tempo Storm kicking it off. So just so everyone knows, this is the group stage. It's kind of like the round robin series. It's going to be going on for the next week or so. So you can kind of stay tuned, see who gets out of the group stage and actually gets to play on stage at BlizzCon for the main event. We also have Calm Before the Storm, which we've talked a ton about over the past few weeks because this is an event that's taking place the day before BlizzCon, November 2nd. 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at the Hilton Anaheim, 2nd and 4th floors. We had Ro on a couple of shows ago to talk about it, and our boy LiQuiud is actually going to be attending the event on one of the panels. Calm Before the Storm is a great kind of like pre-BlizzCon event where they're going to have a ton of meet and greets. Haloran's there, who's been on the show before. I saw that Gilly and Dreadnought are going to be there, some of the esports teams as well. I think Roll20 is one of the teams that's going to be featured there too. So you can go, you can meet a whole bunch of people. They've got a whole bunch of swag from like a bunch of artists profiling their stuff, as well as panels and everything too. So it's like a mini con before the actual convention. And like I said, LiQuiud's going to be on the Here's the Storms panel, which starts at 8:30 p.m. local time, and that's moderated by Scott Johnson, who a lot of people probably know from The Core as well as The Instance, a very popular World of Warcraft podcast, as well as Bacon from the Gankbush Squad, Jeff Reynolds from Heroes Forge, Kyle Ferguson from Into the Nexus, John Jagger from The Core, and Ryan Reeder, TBK Zord from Lords of the Storm. I know LiQuiud's pretty excited to talk on that panel. I'm pretty excited that I don't have to. I'm sure Mystic probably is as well. We get to sit back and enjoy it, eh, bud?
Oh yeah, I'm I don't know, kind of nervous because doing it in front of that many people, especially, I mean, we're all content creators, but, first time there.
Well, it's funny, too. I've heard a lot of other podcasters talk about it, too. They are very different when they're sitting in their own, like, happy place in their studio, in their home, in their basement, in their office, whatever it is, streaming live, as opposed to like being in a crowded environment, talking in front of people. It can be a very different environment. And I know a lot of people say that, going to BlizzCon as a content creator for the first time was a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're a popular, not like us. Like if you're actually like a popular content creator, getting swarmed by a lot of people can be a little bit overwhelming too, but everyone's obviously very friendly. It's a very safe environment and everything too. So, if you do see LiQuiud kicking around at that panel, definitely go up and say hi to him. I'm growing a beard out so I can go incognito so no one will recognize me too. We've got some HGC changes that were announced for 2018. Well, not really changes because most of the stuff's the same. Turns out that we're doing the same format generally for HGCs as this year, with brawls, clashes, the same kind of league structure and everything too with Crucibles. They're going to be streaming all the games in 1080p, 60 frames per second, thank God. And we've got a start date, January 26th. So they're not wasting too much time. I guess there'll be some downtime in December and after BlizzCon, but we're going to be kicking it off in the new year, January 26th. And finally, last piece of news, I've stopped using hot slugs. Silthreent, do you ever use hot slugs?
Nope.
Mystic, do you ever use hot slugs?
Maybe if I'm looking for data.
I feel like a lot of people are slowly moving away from it. There's been a lot of controversy over the years with the creator of Hot Slugs. First, he was hailed as like a great, content creator and like putting that up there, having all the data available for everyone, replay analysis data and everything too. And then there was all the controversy about all the ads and everything getting put up there, and the video ads and like the resources the website was taking up. So there was a big push by HOTSAPI.net over the past couple of months to try and have an alternative. And they've had an API that anyone can access. Stormspy.net and hots.guide have really taken over, and I love those websites. The links are in the show notes, guys. You can check it out. I go there instead. Hotsock still has more replays in general, about a factor of 10 times the amount of replays, but these other ones that are affiliated with Hot's API are growing fast. I definitely suggest everyone checks them out. Okay, so that's it for the news. Sorry, everyone, we don't have an esports corner this week. We do have Troll and HEC, like I said before, LiQuiD 6, so Bags and Trent are going to be holding down the fort when that comes around at about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, we're going to be moving on to some listener questions because, like I said, we have a few that we've been putting off for a while. So
hello, is this the Nexus Trolls? You guys are hilarious.
And I don't get to play that bumper too often, so it's nice that we got that in there. So the first question is from Shredder, and this is via email. I really hope Shredder is his real name. I'm assuming it's a guy. Hey guys, I'm in silver, and I can't stand or figure out how to best counter comps to have an Azmodan or Zagara. I feel like it's impossible to stop their lane pressure, kind of like a dog chasing its own tail. So Mystic, you're in silver, you're in any league. You got an Azmodan or Zagara, maybe both on the other team. What are you doing to counter that? Because it can be cancerous, that push.
Yeah, I've definitely dealt with those kind of heroes before. So Azmodan, he's a really good hero for climbing, just for this reason, exactly. Like, they just do so much lane pressure, they destroy your structures, and it's like really hard to fight against them. You always got to go clear and whatnot, but I find that the best way is either, if your team can handle itself, I know that sounds like, whoa, mind-blowing, your team handling itself. Well, yeah. If your team can handle itself and doesn't need you, and you're a good wave clear hero, you can actually hold them off. Now, this is not the same as beating them, because, beating them is harder because you have to go after them and kill them, and then, you're free to do stuff. But if you're a good wave clear hero, you can actually just hold them back, delay them as much as possible. If they're not in the fight, and you're not in the fight, that's a 4v4. And if you're delaying them, then you're basically stopping whatever that they're doing. If your team is already winning, then you win that trade essentially, right? If your team can't do it without you, then you have to make fights as short as possible. And so then you engage. If they're pushing really hard, you have to engage in that 5v4 where you have the advantage and beat them out as soon as you can. And if you can't do that, well then pick some sort of lane and just push it harder than they can. That's kind of your options there.
So let's say we're on a cursed hollow, right? And tribute spawns. Might be important tribute, might not be. Maybe that can be part of your answer here. And you see Asmo. He's not leaving lane. He's pushing. You know that if you leave him alone, he's going to be pushing that lane out pretty hard. Maybe you're not even a wave clear hero to be able to counter that. Do you report the objective? Do you stay in lane? What do you do, and how do you make that decision? Because if he gets the front wall, maybe even the fort, probably not worth leaving, right? You might have to defend that.
Okay, if it's a not important tribute, then you can afford to tell your team, hey, come gank this guy. We're gonna kill him. He's gonna lose all the soak in this lane, and then we're just gonna push this hard. That's if it's not an important tribute. If it is an important tribute, that changes things because, then the objective comes into play. Then you probably want to go down there and hard engage the 5v4 and just leave him to do whatever his thing, but you have to finish it as soon as possible. You don't have to completely wipe the enemy team. You just have to kill maybe one or two of them so that your team is in the advantage and they feel like they have to back off, in which case then you go back up to Asmo and hold him off while your team gets the objective. Or, your team goes to hold him off while you get the objective. Either one.
So a lot of your initial answer too was talking about having countering it with a hero with good wave clear. What if you're in quick match, you don't have that option? What do you do there in that situation?
If you don't have that option of quick, you have to look at your team and play to their strengths. If you don't have wave clear, that must mean you have more power elsewhere, like team fighting or pick potential. Because if you don't have wave clear, but you have let's just say really good pick potential, like Stitches, like Valera or something, then you can go and kill the Asmo and it doesn't really matter because then he's not in the lane anymore and he's losing experience. Or if you guys have good team fight, then you hard engage on the enemy team and win that team fight hard, and then you go deal with Asmo with like 2 heroes instead, right? Because even if one hero doesn't have 2 wave clear, 2 heroes with mediocre wave clear can still deal with it.
Silthreent, I think that my cat is sensing that your cat is around, because she doesn't come over too often, but she's sitting here meowing like crazy. She must have either heard the word cat or somehow saw your cat on the screen earlier too. Do you play any push, like, Silthreent, what is your experience in HOTS? Why don't we start there? Like, do you play a lot of HOTS?
I play a fair bit, yeah.
And what are your
I
favorite
like
heroes? Like
Greymane and KT.
Greymane, KT. So the heroes with good wave clear that might be the ones that can counter the Asmo and Zagara. So what do you do if you find yourself up against an Asmo and Zagara? Are you looking for that gank all the time with those kind of characters?
Yeah, I don't like split pushing in HOTS. I just don't enjoy it. So I usually try to either gank them or just leave and go to objective.
Yeah.
Just make more pressure elsewhere.
Yeah, and actually there was a question in chat too about how much does Learning 5s cost? I feel like we probably should have addressed that. It's free, is it not?
It's 0.
Costs absolutely nothing, guys. So if you're looking to sign up for Learning 5s, don't worry, it doesn't cost you a penny. It's purely based on volunteer work. Okay, so that's how to counter the push. So we've got a couple more emails. Hector wants to know this. Mystic, how are you finding the grind? Hashtag Mystic to Master. Because if you didn't know, Bacon from the Gankbush squad recently called out Mystic, saying, hey, bud, you keep placing in Diamond 3. We want to see you actually get to Master. We keep calling you a Master level player, but you've never actually been there. So he wants you to get a little bit more street cred by getting that little logo next to your portrait. So how's the grind going?
I wish I had more time to do it, honestly, but between like midterms last week and midterms this week that I have to study for, it's a bit slow. I mean, I've been trying to fit in games here and there, but I've also realized that I have to, since I don't play Hero League a lot, I have to reuse old skills that I thought I'd not use as much anymore, which is what I'm going to talk about in my Mystic Shakedown later on. Conveniently enough.
And finally, our last email is from Rastafan. Or Rastafan, I guess. I don't know why I said Rastafan. This is via email, and I hope this is his real name. Hello, fellow trolls. What's the best way to counter Garrosh? Damn, I hate that orc. Love the show. So, Silthreent, I know you had some good advice for us. Ban it.
Ban it. #1 counter.
If you don't have to play against him, you're not gonna have to worry about him. And I guess
really, like, you may be able to play against him. Your team, on the other hand, probably can't.
Yeah, the best counter is to ban, but a lot of cases you don't have that option. You might not be the banner, or you might be in quick match or another game format where you don't have the option. So Mystic, whenever I play even a ranged hero like Vala, I noticed that Vala's auto attack range is about the same distance as his pull-in ability too, and I'm sure that's why Rastafan is calling in about this, is because they don't like that pull throw combo. So what's the best way to counter that?
I don't know. Garrosh has a lot of different things that he can do, so I don't think there's any best way. I'm looking at the question, maybe like as a whole is just kite him, stay away from him as much as possible, I guess. That would be the best way. I mean, there's a lot of little ways to counter what he does. I mean, I could go through him here. Destroy the walls on your opponent's, on the opponent's side so that he can't trap you behind a wall and kill you instantly with a throw. That's one. Another thing is you can stay in minions and, summons so that you could make it harder for him to throw you, because if you're in there and then you dodge his Q, which isn't super hard to do, the throw is the hard part, right? Because it's targeted technically. But if you stay within minions, there's a chance that he can throw the minion instead of you, and then he doesn't have anything else, right? So there's that. Slows any like mobility impairment, I guess, because if you slow him down, he doesn't really have any fast way to get to you besides, like, I don't know, Lucio speed up or something. And then stuns are okay, but yeah, you basically just have to kite him is the short of it.
I think one big thing for making sure you can always counter the garrosh is just being aware, I guess, of the cooldown of both his throw and his pull in. Because a lot of cases you might see him throw something, and that's on a lengthy cooldown. What is it, 16 seconds, Mystic? Right?
Yep.
So you can watch that. As soon as he throws, it's anything, a minion, another player, you can get aggressive. And one thing, I think it might have been Cavalier Guest maybe that was talking about this, was the best way to counter garrosh is when he throws one of your teammates is to collapse on wherever the throw target went. So you can kind of like try and like engage on the other team along with that person that got thrown. Hopefully it was a tank, someone who can soak whatever the kind of initial damage is that comes out as well. Obviously, like keeping your movement ability cooldowns as well. If you're like a Li Ming, your teleport, your volley, your vault, keep them off cooldown so you don't get stuck in it, and just kind of be cognizant when he's making that movement towards you. Kind of like an Alarak. You can tell when they're getting greedy and they want to do their combo because they start like lumbering towards you, probably a little bit out of position. And I mean, that's at least what I see at my level. And if you see that coming, generally it's a little bit telegraphed that the next thing that's coming is a slam and a throw. What about heroes that counter him well? First thing that comes to mind is Medivh for portals and to get out, but is there any other good characters that counter garrosh? Silthreent, do you have any characters you like playing when you're playing against garrosh, when you don't get the opportunity to ban them, that you feel safe with?
Greymane isn't awful, to be honest, because you can poke with Cocktail, and if he pulls you, you can just leap to a minion nearby and get out.
Or I guess leap back to him too, right?
Yeah, or that.
Yeah. And I guess I've seen some others like Diablo too. Like if he throws Diablo, just charge right back to him. Next thing you know, garrosh is suddenly in your team, right? It's kind of like you countered
Throw ETC in the mosh pit.
Yeah. I love playing Malthael against garrosh. If your team doesn't need Tormented Souls, Last Rites really, really destroys garrosh because it goes through armor. And with his, like, how his healing works, the lower he is, the more that he heals, right? But he doesn't really heal past, like, a certain point, which is, like, half health, right? With his W, if he's, like, super low, so Last Rites really destroys him.
A couple other heroes I like on my team when I'm playing against garrosh would be like an Uther as well, getting that Divine Shield to help you out of the situation. Obviously, it's a burnt ult, but better than getting a kill on the other team. So that's definitely another hero I like too. And even Malf too. I found as long as I don't have a lot of follow-up stun, if you get thrown in there as Malf and you happen to have your Twilight Dream on off cooldown, you can silence everyone, and it's actually kind of a surprisingly good engage. I guess similar to Malthael too. If Malthael gets thrown into the fray, that's where Malthael likes to be sometimes, right? And he's got enough mobility to get out of there as well. So Rastafan, hopefully you see less garroshes because you'll be banning him, taking Silthreent's advice. But failing that, hopefully we've helped you out a little bit here with a few little tidbits. And we were going to do a HOTS debate this week, but we're going to save it again. We're going to delay it until after BlizzCon. It's going to be tough to do this at BlizzCon itself next week. The topic, by the way, for those interested, it's going to be Cleanse is healthy for Heroes of the Storm. Cleanse has been a hot topic for the past few months from pros and players alike, since it's been slowly finding its way out of the game. Only a few select heroes actually have cleanse these days. So Mystic's going to be trying to dethrone LiQuiud, who's won like the last 4 in a row, I think, including the one against Cavalier Guest, too, that we surprised him with Mystic swapping out for Cavalier Guest, and Cavalier Guest still couldn't beat him, too, one of the smartest people in the scene. So hopefully Mystic will be able to take him down in the next show that we end up doing that. Which means we're getting closer to the end of the show. And like I said, it's going to be one of the quicker shows we've ever had. And I'm not lying, it looks like, because we're already into Mystic's Shakedown. So Mystic, here we go.
Mystic, I require service of you. I come to you as a friend, asking you to shake down this situation for me.
So Mystic, shake down the situation for us, bud.
Okay, so my topic for this week is Hero League. And I chose this topic because, you know, there's that challenge that Bacon challenged me to. And, you know, I've been playing Hero League again, here and there, right, when I have time. So Hero League, it's different from your chair leagues and your team leagues, because Hero League, you're by yourself. And it requires a different skill set, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to climb, right? They want that master, they want that grandmaster, they want to get higher rank. And so that requires a different skill set. So as much as it would make the most sense to be like, hey, everybody, let's work together and then let's beat the enemy team, it's harder to do that because there's no like better way to communicate in game besides like pings and like chats, which is way slower slower than like actual talking to someone, right? So that's the big difference there. So because of that, it requires a different skill set of you need to carry your team. So it creates this like carry mentality, right? Where you kind of want to do everything yourself as long as you're better. Like if you have a teammate who's really good and he's destroying the entire enemy team, feel free to just be like, all right, I'm just gonna help this guy. He's destroying the entire enemy team and he's carrying the game. Yeah, just feel free to help him. But if your team isn't doing so hot, then it's kind of up to you. You have to be the best one on your team. You have to be the one making the plays and winning the game. So a little bit of that comes of, hey, I can't trust my team to do anything, but you have to trust your team a little bit to be able to do the basics, I guess, depending on what league you're in. But most of that is going to come from you, because then you're actually climbing, right? You're climbing up the ranks, and it's all you basically. Not to say that, hey, your team doesn't matter. It's just you kind of feel like you have to do most of the work there. Hero League, there's a lot of one-trick ponies. They choose a hero that's either in meta or out of meta, and they climb really fast because they put so much time in that hero. I've talked about this before. They play it at basically, even if they're not a master, they play it at like a master level because they put so much experience into that hero. Now, the reason this works is because let's just say you're a silver player and you're up against, let's just say, a Sonya or something, and they're a one-trick pony Sonya, then they're going to play it at that master level while everybody else is like playing heroes. Let's just say they're trying to fit in, they're trying to make their team comp as best as possible. However, the hero level that they play at is silver, even though they have a good team comp. That Sonya is probably going to destroy any person that they fight against, maybe even two people, and carry the game that way. As far as one tricks go, choosing your one trick is kind of important because if it's a meta hero, that means people are more prepared for it because they fought it more often, as opposed to an off meta hero where it's easier to use an off meta hero one trick than it is meta hero because people don't fight it as often. Let's just say, I don't know who's not meta right now. Let's just say you one trick Murky or something, but you're really good at Murky. You can use that actually to just climb really fast up to a certain point because nobody is like, oh yeah, I'm going to first pick Murky and then just carry the game. But in those instances where you're playing against a really good Murky, they're really good and they can carry the game. Next thing I have is mechanics. Hero League is really good. Like, okay, I guess, yeah, it is really good at practicing your mechanics, but not that much else. Like, you get some knowledge of the maps here and there, but it's good for just practicing your heroes, and that's where the one trick kind of comes in as well, because if you put that much experience into Sonya, like all of her ranges, all of her talents, exactly what she does, and that is really good for your mechanical skill. And then that's where my next point comes in. It harms your team skill, like playing competitively, like in the HGC, or sometimes even Team League. Because if you play Hero League too much, then it creates that carry mentality that I was talking about. That's not always healthy for Team League. And for when you're playing on other leagues like Chair League even, then, you're just going, okay, so this is how I play the game. But since it's Team League or Chair League, it's different because the enemy team is more coordinated. So all those tactics that, let's just say you're Zeratul, you're going in Hero League, you're picking off heroes left and right, and that may work for Hero League. But in Team League, everybody's more cohesive. The communication is much more, I guess, structured. And, they're communicating a lot more often, so they might not get picked off, and your Zeratul strategy for Hero League may not work in Team League as well as you would have liked it.
You're talking about carry here, but isn't that a League of Legends term?
It is, but I feel like it's kind of like a MOBA term, You can have a carry anywhere, right? If you have double support and you have double tank and the Vala is your carry.
Do you have to be an assassin to carry though? Like, is that what you suggest?
I guess, yeah, I guess that's not 100% true, because while Valla is technically your carry, right? You can still carry the game as, let's just say, the support if you play like really well, or tank if you play really well.
I think that's one of like the biggest complaints people have is that, you know, my team sucks. I always get grouped with plebs. I can never climb. You can't pull a team. You can't carry a team effectively in Heroes of the Storm. But you're saying this is not the case, that you can actually make the difference then, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Because if you're the one making basically making the difference, if you're not able to do it, it means that you kind of should be in that rank, because your skill at carrying is not high enough. Like yourself, your skills may be better than the league that you're at, but your carrying skill, like carrying goes beyond just like playing your hero, playing mechanics. It also goes into shot calling and like decision making, and actually typing to your team if you really try hard. Because some people actually do that, right? They type to their team, and they use that bit of communication that they don't have via voice. They type to their team. That also counts as carrying, right? So you have to do all of that stuff, like really, really well if you want to carry your way out of what other people just say, like, I'm in Elo hell, right?
Silthreent, do you play a lot of Hero League?
Yeah, it's primarily what I play.
And why do you play Hero League most of the time? Because actually, like, I rarely dip my toe into Hero League and HOTS.
I just don't like playing normals. To me, they're like basically the same thing. It's just one has fancy numbers attached to it. So I'm just going to get bigger, fancier numbers.
That's true. I mean, I guess it's just a more competitive way to play. In my mind, it usually brings out the worst in a lot of your competitors and a lot of the people on your team. But if you're looking for people tryharding, I mean, Hero League is the place to do it. Hero League, Ice or Team League. In quick match and stuff, half the time people will be like, like that guy's feeding, and most of the time I just type in like, whatever, man, it's quick match, who cares, right? But when you're in Hero League, everyone cares about the rank. That's not something that you can just kind of slough off, I guess. So, Silthreent, do you want to talk any more about learning fives? We did have the question about whether it costs money or not, but I mean, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about regarding learning fives?
Go sign up.
Go sign up.
It's fun. It's exciting. It's free.
Well, and I mean, like you said, like we've been doing it for 2 years with League of Legends, and it's been fairly successful there too. So, I mean, if it's worked one place, it should be working another, and it's something that I'm definitely going to check out too. My chair league team, we've often talked about trying to get some coaching and like involved in some coaching and such to improve our game, and I feel like a lot of people are out there looking for people to help them improve their game, and this seems to be a good outlet for it. There aren't many of those in Heroes of the Storm currently. Okay, so I'm going to end the show here, I think, and this might actually be, Mystic, our shortest show ever. We actually pulled it off. We're under an hour for the first time in Nexus Trolls history, mostly because it was a pretty quiet week, and then LiQuiud was sick, so we had to cut a couple segments. But that being said, we're going to be live next week at BlizzCon in Anaheim. We're probably going to do a podcast. It might be a short version. We're not sure exactly what we're going to be able to do on the Wednesday night, the day before Con Before the Storm, a couple days before the BlizzCon actual event starts. We'll try and get a little mini show together with the three of us in the same room, meeting for the first time in person too. It's going to be kind of exciting. I like, the ironic thing is, Mystic, I have no idea how like tall you are too. You could be like a 6'7" giant for all I know. I think things like that are going to be pretty interesting to find out about people I've never met before. There's a whole bunch of people I'm going to be in there for the first time. People we've had on the show, people that like I've interacted with in game and such before too. So it's gonna be a great opportunity to meet everyone. We've got a whole bunch of giveaways and stuff. Those sunglasses that LiQuiud's been tweeting out about, we're gonna be giving out actually on the floor of BlizzCon. So definitely tweet at us, try and find us, bump into me, LiQuiud or Mystic. We'll have a bunch of those to give out. So find us on the floor, and we're more than happy to give those out. We might even be wearing some Trolls GG t-shirts, so you can more easily spot us too. I'm not sure if I'm gonna wear mine the whole event, but I'll probably have it on from time to time. But thanks everybody for listening to the Nexus Trolls. Here's the Storm podcast. We stream this live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/trollsgg, every week on Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. This is usually where I'd ask LiQuid where people can find him. And if you're looking for LiQuid, you can find him on Twitter at LiQuidGG. That's LiQiudGG. He's the most active of the three of us on Twitter. So if you're looking to follow someone who's active on Twitter, you can definitely go so there. You can follow me at DazHots. Mystic, where can people find you?
You can find me at Mystic Shroud on Twitter.
your very inactive Twitter account, which is getting more active by the day, might I add. Silthreent, we got Mystic to sign up for Twitter maybe about 4 months ago, and he's slowly building it up. He's got an avatar for the first time a couple weeks ago, slowly building on there. Yeah, slow polite clap for that. So Silthreent, where can people find you? Do you use Twitter a lot?
I use Twitter some, mostly tweeting memes, but we like memes. Twitter's there.
I actually saw you tweeting about some Summoners War, so that's a game that I got into, started getting into
yeah.
a few months ago as well. Sucking up
No idea what the contest is for, but I sure am entering.
Well, hey, nothing wrong with retweeting contests and trying to get in them. I think LiQuid's won a few. He seems to win contests frequently. He's like, hey, I got like these free skins and stuff. I'm like, how the hell do you win all these contests? But I guess, hey, if you just enter enough of them, you'll start winning things. So if people want to find out more about Learning Fives, best places, he says, the Discord channel.
Yep. Either Discord for League or HOTS.
Yeah. And again, the links for that are in the show notes. But if you're looking for that information on how to get in touch with the Discord server, facebook.com/learning5 or twitter.com/learning5s. So Learning Fives is the best place to do that. And then finally, I want to thank all our Patreon supporters. If you like the show and you're looking for a way to support the show, you can do so over at patreon.com/trollsgg. You can subscribe to our show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you happen to find your podcasts online. You can visit our website at trolls.gg/TheNexusTrolls to watch this and past shows, along with past video streams, which can also be found on our YouTube channel. For announcements about the show and general Heroes of the Storm news, you can follow us on Twitter at TheNexusTrolls. And if you want to hang out with us in the Trolls community in-game, you can /join TrollsGG in-game or join our Discord channel, which you can get the information for that at trolls.gg/Discord. And finally, if you need to get in touch with us, the best way is by email at TheNexusTrolls@trolls.gg. And if you send us an email, we'll likely feature that on one of the future upcoming shows, just like we did today. So, Mystic, thanks for hosting as usual. Silthreent, thanks for being our guest this week. Everybody, thanks for watching. Have a great week.